Hello and welcome to the Freedom Frequency Podcast. I'm your host, Kaya, energy healer, psychic channel, and spiritual mentor for women who are ready to ditch the spiritual rulebook, release the pressure and overwhelm, and let go of all that comparison that makes you feel like what you're doing isn't enough. In this podcast, I'm going to share bits of my journey with you, as well as my wisdom and knowledge to show you that spirituality gets to be something that works for you and not something that you work for. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello. So today I want to talk about something that I feel will resonate with a lot of people. I find a lot of people that I'm talking with lately are going through times of transition, whether that's a career or business transition or pivot, or maybe it's relationships, friendships, whatever it is for you. It could even just be an internal transition where you're kind of shifting beliefs and things like that. And feeling into this collective energy of transition, and also into my own energy right now, going through a transition, which I'll share a little bit more about. I just had something come through that I really want to share around navigating the transitions in life. And I know a lot of people speak to like the void, like when you're in between like one thing and the next. So like maybe you're in between relationships or houses or jobs or whatever it is. I really want to speak to this time and what I've learned in my current transition and also in past transition. So for a little bit of background into like my current situation, for all you nosy people out there who I am so nosy, I love to know what's happening in people's lives in like real time. So right now I'm in a transition period between businesses, and it's kind of like this messy mess where I'm not really in a position where I'm like, I don't want to do my old business anymore at all. But I also want to, have space and create space to pursue my new business. So it's this little, 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of energy, which can leave me feeling a little bit wobbly at times. So in this, then I have been navigating for the majority of this year, this transition, getting more clarity on, taking some action in my new business venture and really understanding what I'm wanting to create with it so that I, have a better idea of what I'm going for, I guess. And in this, then I've felt like I need to start releasing some clients from my other business, we'll call it my old business. So my other business, I'm like a service provider for entrepreneurs, and I work with 9 different entrepreneurs behind the scenes of their business, doing strategy, admin work, automations, like all kinds of good stuff like that. So I love all of my clients so much. There's definitely some tasks I like to do more than others, and that's become very apparent to me as the year has gone on, where I've kind of felt like the energy in the businesses that I work for and the women that I work for, I can really start to feel into what businesses are the most enjoyable to work in. And it sometimes has to do with the way that the entrepreneur runs her business, but sometimes it just has to do with the tasks that I'm doing in the business. So I've had a lot of time to get clarity on, which clients do I really love to work for. I really love them. I love the tasks I do for them. I love the energy of their business, their mission. I love standing behind it with them. And which clients do I love them so deeply as a person, but the work that I do for them has become draining. So I felt for literally months that it was time for me to start thinking about releasing a client or two. And I kind of have my top 3 or so that I knew it was time to let them go, probably this year. And to be honest, I was terrified. I was terrified to let them go. I was terrified of what this could mean, the unknown. If you're anything like me, it's you have the fear of the unknown of what's going to unfold if I take this step, like, you kind of like to know when I do X, Y is going to happen. Like, and it's going to feel safe, and it feels safe in your nervous system to know like what will unfold. And the thing is that on our journeys for manifesting what we're desiring and creating the lives that we desire to have, we have to get uncomfortable. Like, it's not going to be just like, I see exactly what's going to happen. I do this, and then this will happen, and then this will happen. And sometimes it can feel like that. It can feel like, exactly what you anticipated happened, like self-fulfilling prophecy, good or bad. But at times, sometimes we just have to accept that we don't know what's going to happen. And this is where I see a lot of people, including myself, get really, like, I hate the word blocked, but getting blocked, like getting stuck and feeling like they're just going to like spin their wheels in the mud, like a truck stuck in the mud kind of thing, where they're like doing stuff that's not making an impact, even though they know what would make the impact, but they're scared because like it's hard to do the thing that you're like, oh, I just feel this in my soul that I need to do this. I need to take this leap. I need to like, release this thing or invest in this thing or whatever it is. But what will happen next? Like, and this can show up in so many ways. Like for me, for example, like seeing that I need to release certain clients from this business, I was like, okay, well, like, what if that income isn't replaced? Or what if like I release one client and then like another client were to put in their notice and it's more than I thought I was going to be releasing at this time? Or, all of these things kind of come into my head, and it's like these sneaky ways that my ego wants to come in and say, hey, change isn't safe. We've got a good thing going here. And it rubs up against a lot of wounding, which I won't really get into like the full details and go completely off topic here. But oftentimes the things we fear might happen when we think of the what ifs are the things that would rub up against our wounding. So like, yeah, like for example, like for me to think, oh, like what if, I don't make this money back and another client leaves. And it's like, it brings me back to a time in my life when money was really tight. I didn't have overflow. I struggled to pay my bills. And the thought of going back there feels very unsafe, because back then I felt very unsafe. So it kind of shows to me like, okay, well, what healing work could be done here so that I can create inner security instead of relying on my external circumstances to make me feel safe. Because when we're relying on the external to make us feel safe, then all change feels scary, right? And if we're not willing to change, then we're not willing to grow, we're not willing to expand, and we're actually not going to see anything manifest into our lives that we're really desiring, right? So like if you're desiring a new relationship, but you're not willing to like let go of like an old relationship, or like that ex you keep texting, or like, guys you're entertaining that aren't right for you, or like maybe you're manifesting a shift in business and like you're not willing to let go of your old business or your old clients or your old offers that you don't really want to be selling anymore. Like there's so many ways this can apply to different people's lives. So really take it and see how it might be fitting in for you. But the message I really want to share here, I guess, is like, we don't know what's going to unfold. And the most powerful thing you can do when you're in a transition and you're kind of on the edge of like your comfort zone and like, I know I need to make a move and I don't know what to do because nothing feels safe. And the stuff that does feel safe that I keep doing isn't getting me anywhere. You really have to create the safety from within, and the safety in the unknown, and the trust in yourself and the trust in the universe, right? And that whatever step you're being led to, you can trust. Like you can trust that inner nudge, you can trust that inner wisdom, and you can take that step and trust that the universe has given you that little nugget to point you in the direction of your wildest dreams, to point you in the direction of exactly what you're desiring to manifest. And all you have to do is just trust. And that's the hardest part. It's like, it's so easy, like just trust, but like, it's so hard. It's so hard to like, especially when you see things kind of like crumbling around you, like, like your business is crumbling or like things. It's like, you have to really trust that like in that crumbling, like something so good is going to come from it. Like, you're meant to experience this. And like, I know for me, in times in the past where I felt like my whole life was falling apart, like I couldn't pay my bills, like I was in between jobs, in between homes. Like, there was a time when my husband and I were like living with my father-in-law. Like, you know, we just moved to a new city. We were trying to find a place to live, trying to get jobs, trying to get on our feet. And like, things felt so terrible back then. And it was just at the point where like, sometimes when things get that, I don't want to say bad, but you just kind of have to like think, I have literally no choice but to just surrender to it. Like, there's nothing else I can do but just trust that it's all working out. And at that time in my life, I remember thinking to myself, like, I have to be experiencing all of this for a reason. Like, I felt like life was always kicking me when I'm down. And like, part of that was my mindset. But it was like, I have to be going through this for a reason. And now in hindsight, like from where I am now, I look back at like years ago when I was in those situations and I think, yeah, of course I went through that, because now I know how I like clawed my way out of it and I can share that with other people. So there's always a higher perspective, and like there's always a bigger vision and a bigger path and a bigger timeline happening. And it's just a matter of, can you trust that it's all for your highest good? Because it is. It's always working out. Things are always in motion. You're always heading in the right direction. And all you have to do is trust that. So that's what's coming through for me today. That's what's coming through for me to share with myself in some ways, but also I knew that these thoughts and these things channeling through for my current situation would also resonate with others, right? Would resonate with others out there. So if this message resonates for you, I would love to hear from you. I would love for you to send me a message, to connect. I love chatting with everyone. And then, of course, I always invite you and welcome you to give me a nice rating, send me some love on here. It's so important for me to have that kind of support so I can share my message, I can share my podcast, like I can get my word out there and share my mission with others and help and support others. So I appreciate you so much for being here, genuinely from the bottom of my heart. And make sure you check out the show notes for some fun little links if you want to continue to learn from me and be in my world. Otherwise, I will see you on the next episode.